Hi, I'll do a NickTheSmoker here. This isn't going to be a review video, it's just going to be a little bit about myself, about my personal smoking history. Just to really light this up. Okay. I'm 19 years old. I've been smoking for about a year and a half now, just about a year and a half. I started smoking a week after my 18th birthday, and I started on the American Spirit cigarette brand because I knew a lot of people who smoked them. A lot of people gave them praise. A lot of my friends smoked the yellow pack, which was the medium, the mellow blend. And it's just like you look at the cigarette in the store and it really sticks out because it's like these bright, colorful packs. Not a lot of cigarettes are like that. I mean, you see the Marlboro Red, which is that red ribbon is just everyone knows what it is. It's just such a classic cigarette. But the Spirits, they really stuck out. So when I started smoking, I didn't know my personal taste preferences really when it came to cigarettes. I just want to try cigarettes. I'm 18 now. So I went to a gas station, picked up what I thought was a cooler looking pack of the Spirits, and they were the Natural American Spirit Oranges, which was the ultralight. And I had no idea at that time because the color of the packs really didn't make any sense. They're all different colors, like a Marlboro Red was the full flavor, a Marlboro Light was the white and gold, so people knew that. Green was menthol and stuff like that. But yeah, the Spirits just had all these colorful rainbows and stuff. You got green, orange, yellow, blue, dark blue, turquoise, stuff like that. So I had them, and again, I didn't know my personal preferences when it came to smoking, and I wasn't, nowhere near a heavy smoker. I just started, and the Spirits were really something else. It was a very full, satisfying cigarette. So I had them, and it was like smoking air. I mean, the flavor was just almost non-existent in the cigarette. There was almost no body to the cigarette whatsoever. You were almost smoking more air than you were. You were inhaling more air than you were smoke. It was amazing. And after that, maybe a week later, after I finished that pack, it was I went back to a gas station again to pick up another pack because Spirits had so many, and I said, fuck it, let's go for the stronger one. And boy, I didn't know what the stronger one was. I just saw that nice dark black pack, and that was the American Spirit Parikh blend. The American Spirit Parikh is a very special cigarette here in America, in the United States. It has a blend of, I believe, 15% of the tobacco is a Parikh tobacco. And this is a very special tobacco that can only be grown here, which is in Louisiana. And this tobacco itself is a very specially aged tobacco, aged in empty whiskey barrels, and I believe it's pressurized. So there's a lot of fermenting and stuff to go on there. And then when this tobacco is finished going through these processes, it's very, very robust. There's just so many different kinds of flavors coming off it. It's like it's almost, I would say it's probably even a more difficult process than fermenting a fine wine. This tobacco, like I said, the only place that grows it here in the United States is Louisiana. Anywhere in the world, for that matter, is Louisiana. And they would use pipe tobaccos would use that, more specialty ones, because of how rare this was. And then when American Spirit came along and made that blend, it's actually one of the more popular spirits. I mean, I would believe the more full flavored spirits, most people will smoke the blacks. And there's a taste that comes off of those that is just wow. Like you either like it or you don't like it. For me, in my case, that was my second pack of cigarettes that I bought when I was 18, and I was just amazed with them. I fell in love with them from that day, and because of how long they burned, it was great. This was September, I would say. So the cigarette itself was very good, and the weather was still really good. And then I realized, because I had never smoked a cigarette before, I was starting on Spirits. When it came, socializing with other smokers or just being out in the weather, I realized I'd be the last person with a cigarette in my hand. I'd still have half of it left. And they'd be like, oh yeah, Spirits, there's so much tobacco, they just burn for ages. And that's when I realized. And then, Chicago over here gets very, very cold in the winter. Like right now, it's like it was negative 25 or 30 in the morning with the wind shots Fahrenheit. And right now it's about 6. There's not a lot of wind anymore. So sitting outside smoking this cigarette, you know, you're getting your nicotine, but but you're almost getting frostbite at the same time. So I had to change it up a little bit. I smoked about two and a half cartons of the black spirits until one day I woke up and I was still at university. So I woke up and I was smoking a pack, and first cigarette of the day, and I would gag on it. It was very odd because I usually enjoyed them. And it was like, I'm gagging on this cigarette, like, do I have cancer or something? But no, you know, that's not the case. It was just like the cigarette wasn't hitting the way it used to be when I used to like it. So I still, you know, kept smoking them, and I kept noticing first cigarette of the day was always this gag, you know, a dry heave off the first drag of the cigarette, and I always wondered what that problem was. Well, after that, I switched for one carton to Camel Turkish Royals. And again, I'm still testing, you know, my personal taste preferences of cigarettes, intensities, and stuff like that. So I was on the Camel Turkish Royal cigarette, and I might do a review later about that. But the Camel Turkish Royals were at first for me were actually very good. That's one of Camel's more popular full flavored cigarettes. And actually, menthol, because of the way it tastes, because of how sweet that Turkish tobacco is, a lot of menthol smokers actually like the Turkish Royals or the Silvers or the Golds. The Royals are the full flavor, but the way it hits is that it's very smooth. It's a very smooth cigarette and very sweet. It's almost like a dessert. So yeah, I was on that for one carton, and you know, they were cheaper in my county over here. American Spirits were 73 a carton, and these Turkish Royals are like had to win about 60 or something. So I was saving money right there, and I liked them, and it would burn quicker too. On top of that, towards the end of that carton, they began to be it wasn't satisfying enough for me anymore. After one carton, it was like I started losing that the taste of the sweetness. I don't know if it's my taste buds or whatever, because smoke's, you know, polluting my taste buds in my mouth. But the sweetness factor really just leveled off completely for me, and the cigarette really became too light for my personal preferences, because of that bold sweetness flavor from that Turkish tobacco. It went away, and it's a good cigarette, but I got bored of it. So then I bought a carton of Marlboro Lights, you know, because everyone smoked Marlboro Lights, the most popular cigarette in the world. So I bought a carton of those, and I think no, I hadn't smoked them previously, but I picked up a carton because everyone smoked them, and I enjoyed those for about the first 5 packs, and then after a while I just sold the rest of my packs off to my buddies here, and because I didn't enjoy them, they were way too light and the flavor was almost non-existent. Some people like that, some people don't, like me. So one day, after getting bored of those Marlboro Lights, I was like, what can I do next? You know, there's so many cigarettes out there, and there's cigarettes I still don't know about, you know. And I think I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to cigarettes, but there's still so much more out there I haven't been able to try. So, lo and behold, one day I'm watching Godfather, and I knew at the time that, you know, cigarettes back in the day had no filters on them, because that's how they smoked them. That's how they were made. And, you know, this was 2014? No, this was 2013, you know, end of 2013. And it was just amazing. It was like I was watching first Godfather, and they were smoking, you know, non-filter cigarettes, real short, you know, little stubby cigarettes. I don't think they really showed the pack in the movie, but then I remember one of them, Al Pacino, I think, was smoking one, and there was a scene where they didn't cover up what was written in ink on the filter, and I saw real distantly it said Camel on it, and I'm like, wow, Camel, you know, Camel non-filters. That's so, you know, I guess Camel was a non-filter back in the day, and so I was driving, you know, back up to school one day, and I looked up a tobacco store, called them up, asked them if they had some Camel non-filters, and they said yeah. So I was like, oh shit, that's gonna be something cool to try, a non-filter cigarette, and walked in there. I bought 3 packs right away. I don't know why it was 3, you know, maybe usually 2 packs, but I bought 3 because there was something on my mind about it. It was just like I was gonna like them or something. So I bought these 3 packs, and I went out to the car, and, you know, it's a soft pack. I've never had a soft pack before, so, you know, I rather than just tearing off the little half of the foil while keeping the whole other pack intact, I just completely took off the stamp that was on the top, wrapping the cigarettes, opened the foil inside, and just had all the cigarettes there. So I finally pull one out, and I light it up, and it was the most amazing taste I've ever had. I was so surprised about what came from this cigarette. And I figured because it's not, there's no filter on it, but with this taste that came out of this cigarette, this full intensity of the cigarette, and this was towards the end of winter, so the throat hit, it was cold outside, so the throat hit wasn't hitting as strong. And it was very, very, very pleasant. Fucking amazing was what it was. The nicotine hit was just, it hit me nice and clean, the full intensity of the cigarette, and I loved it. So, through the winter, I began smoking Camel non-filters, and that's when I found out non-filters are more expensive. You know, like I said, the American Spirits at my shop were $73 a carton, and then these non-filters were like $82, almost $83. I'm like, shit, that's almost $100 a fucking carton. Talking like almost $20, you know, a little under $20, short of being $100. Like, wow, that's pretty expensive. And at the time, you know, I have a job, so I was able to supplement that, you know, supplement my income to keep up my smoking habit. And at that time, I wasn't smoking too much. I was smoking maybe under half a pack a day. And then gradually over time, my smoking increased a little bit. It got up to about a pack a day. And then as soon as it got, you know, Chicago summers can get really warm too. So when it got really warm outside, I was still smoking these Camel non-filters. And it started, the throat hit was just hitting really hard. And people would tell me, like, shit, you're smoking Camel non-filters? Like, that's some fucking rough shit. And I never noticed it. I just figured God bless me or something, the ability to smoke non-filter cigarettes. But came the winter time, came summertime, it got pretty rough. So I had to switch from there. Shortly after I switched, I think I went back on Camel Turkish rolls for a very small time, just a couple packs, and then I found out of another non-filter cigarette, lo and behold, and that itself was the classic American Lucky Strike. These, I didn't even know they made them still. I was, you know, still finding out all this stuff about cigarettes, and it was like nice little soft pack, you know, white with that bullseye Lucky Strike logo on there. Very nice vintage retro looking pack. And I went to my shop again. They had them. I picked up 2 packs, grabbed one out in the car, and it was even better than the Camel. The flavor coming from that roasted tobacco inside the Lucky Strike was just heavenly. The aroma from it was heavenly, and the body of the smoke was fucking massive. I was sitting in my car with the windows closed, and after that initial light and just blowing that smoke out, my car was filled with fucking smoke already, and the sun was shining through the windshield, so it was reflecting off all the smoke, and it was very, very dense. And I'm like, damn, that's fucking good, because I like that density of the smoke. So I started smoking those for quite a while, and like all good things come to an end. About 2 or 3 cartons later, you know, the flavor, again, it dwindled on me. I guess my body just got used to the feeling of it, the flavor. But, you know, I still go back to the Luckies once in a while because it's such a great fucking smoke. I know in Europe they have the Lucky Strike filters, which are one of the more popular cigarettes. And I've had the Lucky Strike filters from Europe, and they're very good. You can still taste that roasted tobacco. Well, what do they call it? Roasted? Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, it's toasted. I'm sorry, guys. It's toasted tobacco. So they toasted tobacco. It's not sun-dried, it's toasted. And it changes the complete dynamics of that smoke. So, after that, I switched again. This time, American Spirit again. American Spirit non-filter. These fucking cigarettes are amazing. The American Spirit non-filter. And it's king size. You know, it's a king size. It's a long smoke. You know, it's a longer smoke, and it's shit. It was, you know, like I said, $73 a carton for the spirits. All the spirits were $73 a carton in my county. The non-filters were the same price, and it was a king size. It was a longer smoke, and I'm like, damn, spirits, non-filter spirits, and you know, bought one of those, and I lit it up. Oh, my shop only sold them by the carton at the time, so I just took a shot in the dark and bought a whole carton. And I had it, first one, and it was fucking amazing. The hit of it was like 2 times stronger than a Camel non-filter. And then I started reading up on these tar nicotine levels of this cigarette, and it was just, it was ungodly. The tar pushes 30 milligrams. The nicotine is just about 30 milligrams per, 3.0 milligrams nicotine per cigarette and 30 milligrams of tar for these filtered spirits. And it was just, holy shit. And not to mention how long they would burn. It was most people, I gave them to my friends before, and they can't even fucking smoke a half of it because it's just so overpowering for them. And I loved it. So I smoked about 2 cartons of those, and this was still in the summer, I believe. And I got used to the way it was hitting my throat, because it would hit pretty hard in that fucking heat. So I was having those. And then, lo and behold, one day I found Pall Mall non-filter. Pall Mall non-filter. We all know that in the United States, Pall Malls are a sub-premium cigarette. It's not so much budget, but it's just about budget, It's not like a Pyramid or a Tournier or a Leggett or something like that. It's just right above there. So the Pall Mall filters, I knew they had a terrible reputation of just being a terrible cigarette, terrible tasting. They lasted long too, though. That's what they're, they last longer than normal cigarettes because they're compacted with tobacco pretty much. So I was like, oh shit, they got a king size dark red soft, like a maroon soft pack, which says, wherever particular people congregate. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I decided to give them a shot. Now, the first time I had these cigarettes, I fucking hated it. And I didn't understand why, because it was a longer cigarette and more bang for your buck, same price as like a Camel or a Lucky Strike, and those are shorter. So this was, more smoke for the same price. And it was very sweet. The Pall Mall, if anyone's had Pall Mall non-filter, it's a very, very sweet tobacco in there. And the throat hit, and the nicotine hit is pretty superb. But I didn't like them for some reason. And here and there, I'd be switching back and forth, be having Camels and Luckies, and then once in a while I'd pick up another pack Pall Mall, see if I like it, see if something was wrong the first time. And again, I had it, and I didn't like it. Well, I think it's because I was buying these from gas stations. These gas stations, nobody walks into a gas station to buy a pack of non-filter cigarettes really anymore. So I think they were stale is what it came down to. I didn't know how to read the manufacture dates on the bottoms of the packs at that point in time. So now I assume that they were probably stale and I didn't like them. And lo and behold, a couple months later, I have another pack from my own tobacco shop, and it was great. I loved it immediately. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this, and I lit one up, and it was just great. Lit it up with a match. Pall Mall tastes better with a match, and it was just fucking great. It was a really good smoke, and burns pretty long. I think Pall Malls have more tobacco inside of them, so it burned pretty long, and it was good. It was good for me. It was very satisfying. And I got used to that sweet taste. It was really overpowering sweet taste at first, but after a while you get used to it. I could still smoke a Pall Mall and taste that full sweetness that's in there. Like a Camel non-filter or Lucky Strike. That taste kind of went down over time. I stopped appreciating that full taste. It started going away. With these Pall Malls, I liked them, so I had about a carton or 2 of those. 2 cartons of those. And I enjoyed them every time because they were king size. Okay. What was next? The English Oval. I did a review on the English Oval because I was smoking predominantly non-filter cigarettes at this point in time. This was towards the end of summer, and I found out about the English Ovals through the internet. When I'm more off PM USA's website and saw they still manufactured English Oval, one blend, the king size select blend, and calling up places left and right, nobody's got them. My shop didn't have them. My shop that I went to, they had almost everything, but they didn't have the English Ovals. So I was like, shit, I gotta find these. So I called around all these. I had to call 15 places, and then I went into the downtown region. I started calling downtown because I figured maybe these tobacco shops downtown in the business district are going to start having these more premium cigarettes. And lo and behold, I found it. And I'm going to take a break here.